Hello, ladies. Happy Saturday afternoon. It's a very fine Saturday afternoon, and I was going to jump in the pool if we're not talking right now, but I guess after this class. So I'm here with you guys with a glass of wine and in a beautiful surrounding. Before we start, I would like to remind you about our retreat, September 1st and throughout 4th. It's a Labor Day weekend, so if you want to give yourself, you know, the best gift to yourself, best vacation to yourself, please come to the retreat, and you will come home a totally new person. I promise you that, because you will learn so much the art of living, the art of being, and all these things that I talk about, I preach to you, I teach you. I don't learn them from books. I learn through my own inner process. So whatever I teach you, it's basically inner sharing, okay? So you don't have to take whatever I say at a face value. What you need to do is really just, to look deep within yourself, to find out if what I say has any truth in it or not. And if you don't agree with it, that's fine, okay? If you agree with it, you might want to practice it and see if what I say holds value. That is the only way you will learn and grow. So do not think that, like, oh, she pretends to be like, she's all that. I'm not all that. I am, meaning that I'm just a happy person. I'm okay with myself. I accept myself. Warts and all, my flaws, my imperfections. That makes me who I am. But because I accept my flaws and imperfections, I don't create entanglements. I don't create problems by me reacting to my own disapproval of myself. So when you come to the retreat, you will learn so much the art of being, the art of embracing yourself so fully, all your flaws, all your imperfections. So you stop hating yourself. When you stop hating yourself, you stop bringing this self-hate into the world and project it onto other people. That is what shadow is. Okay, shadow is the unclaimed part of ourselves that we deny or repress because we've been told since we were in a crib that it was wrong, it was bad, it was sinful. So we try to live up to that image of perfection of someone who doesn't have the dark side. When we say dark side, I put quote unquote because what we consider our dark side is really just like our normal human side, our human nature. We have the light and the dark sides, and both are okay. What is not okay is your judgment of it. Self-judgment leads to judgment of others. Self-acceptance leads to acceptance of others. When you are accepting of yourself and others, meaning you are one with the rhythm of life, which means you live in a state of non-conflict. There is no conflict in you. And that is the best place to be, because from the state of no conflict or lack of conflict, you conserve this very powerful, healthy energy that you would channel into productive things like, making your life so beautiful, so fabulous. Focus on your business and projects because you don't have time to worry. All that energy remains intact and you focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do. Instead of worrying about things that are beyond my control, you now will focus on things that would actually bring to the betterment, uh, improvement of your life. Now, so ask your questions in the comment section, okay? And I'll put the link to the retreat. Um, and don't forget, because I got tons of bonuses for those who come, like over $500 worth of bonuses if you sign up by the end of the month, okay? So if you want my programs and you think, oh, it's so expensive, now the cheapest way, the most affordable way to get my coaching is to actually see me live, come to this place and share a glass of wine with me, and we can talk heart to heart. Whatever your life situation, I'm sure I can tweak it to your satisfaction. Like, every day, if you're in the group, you see for yourself, you read for yourself all the success stories from the ladies, right? So I don't make this up. And to be honest, I'm I'm also like surprised, shocked, even till these days, to this day, I'm still like, wow, okay, thank you so much, for making me look good. Thank you for that. Okay, first, I would like to deal with Stacy's question. Stacy asked question earlier. Hi, Kat. My boyfriend was my EUM, and we just bought a house together. I have no desire to marry again right away, since we have both been divorced a little over 2 years. He is very loving and caring, but not as affectionate as I would like. We have a very deep and gratifying relationship, but I do feel a lack, and I'm aware of it. We have talked about it, and he does try, but I just don't think it's in his nature. How can I move on and accept this new style of love, since I'm so used to all the physical affection my ex-husband gave me for 23 years? Stacy, your story is almost like mine. Before my Alpha X that I married, I was with a beta guy. He was a very nice guy. He wasn't effeminate, but he was obviously, you know, uh, more in tune with his feminine energy, feminine side than his masculine side. That's why he is so agreeable. So I could get whatever I wanted with him, and he would just like obey me, follow my lead, whatever, follow my whims, basically, right? So, and he was very affectionate. That is the nature of most guys who are more in touch with their feminine side. They're like women. They like to touch. They're very affectionate. Um, so because of that affection, I was hooked, kind of lured into the relationship because that's the way I was. I was kind of clingy. I love physical affection, and he was very doting emotionally and physically too through the affection. So I was so spoiled by this man, and it's kind of like um, messed up with my head a little bit because it skewed my expectations of men. After him, I thought that all men should be like him, very nice, very obedient, just would do whatever you tell him to do. But at the same time, you lost attraction over time because, at times it just felt that he was more woman than I was. So I lost attraction, and eventually the relationship ran its course. Okay, so that was one extreme. So after him, still I was on a rebound. I met my Alpha X, who was the total opposite of my Beta X. Yeah, he was so masculine. He was so masculine, I couldn't relate to him at all. Like, I was, the entire time, I was very attracted to him, but at the same time, I couldn't connect to him emotionally because I didn't know what to do. Usually, this ex of mine, the Beta one, was always very, uh, just very supportive of me emotionally. Now he is the man who wasn't like that at all. Doesn't mean he was a bad man. It was just a totally different man. the total opposite. So I went from one extreme to the opposite extreme. So super beta to super alpha. And I was so confused, right? So that is what you apparently going through right now. You've been with a very probably feminine energy ex-husband, and probably he was an ex because you lost attraction to, right? Now you want something different, and you do have something different, but you don't know how to deal with it. So this is the process of healing that I'm going to talk in depth in my new program that is part of the Feminine Magnetism Group Coaching. It's Module 5, and it will start on July 8th. It's called Salvation Through Relationship. So you will understand the parts that you need healing within yourself through interacting, through observing your inner reaction in your new relationship with your guy. Very likely your new guy is an alpha guy. You know, he loves probably the affection, but not as much as you do. Okay, so after my alpha ex, and then I dated a storm, right? You know, I met a lot of EUMs, a lot of guys who are just like basically, you know how it goes. They're into you, they like you, but they're not fully there yet, and most of them are not as affectionate as my beta ex either. Most of them were more like the garden variety of my alpha ex, which is pretty detached, not very lovey-dovey. You know, they like to touch as long as they initiate it. So these guys kind of trained me to sort of like heal that part of me that was so clingy. So I became so detached too, in a way, because, you know, in the past, before meeting my alpha ex, or even after, because I didn't realize, I always seemed to sort of force myself into these guys, and these guys would pull back. They don't like it when you are so leading in the affection department when they are not in that mode. So this is actually, Stacy, a great place for you to practice that part of you, that non-clingy part of you. So you are clingy like me physically, right? So this is the chance for you to grow the other side. When you go to the other side, embracing your other side, you will naturally come to the middle. Now, when you have come to the middle, the relationship you have with your guy now might not last. It might run its course in due time. And that is okay. Like the relationship with my ex ran its course because of that, a lot of healing both of us needed to go through. But he was my very important stepping stone toward healing, as I was for him. So not every guy would be for a lifetime. Some guys just come for a season, like, and a reason. So my alpha ex came into my life for a season and a reason. The reason was so I could embrace my other side, my non-clingy side. And now, after him, I've been with Joy for like almost 5 years now, 4 years, 4.5, something like that. And he is the perfect blend between those two guys. Joe is very affectionate. He in fact, you know, probably would frown if I'm not, you know, rubbing him, not giving him the physical affection that he wants. But at the same time, he is also like, you know, he's showing a lot of masculine sides that my beta ex didn't have. So the likelihood is what's going to happen to you, Stacy. Say one day down the road when you have developed this other side of you, and you begin to see for yourself that this relationship somehow is not working for me anymore. And that is okay too. Or because you have healed that side of you that needs so much physical affection, that would actually inspire him to be more affectionate toward you. That is what could actually happen too. That is also something that I could probably have done had I known what I know today with my Alpha X. So had I been less demanding, less filled with expectations, just let him come to me whenever he felt like it, when he was ready, he wanted it, things probably would have been more different. But since I was clueless back then, right? So I didn't know the process. I didn't even know what was going on with myself at that time. I didn't know I was still on a rebound. Being a rebound basically meaning being on a rebound basically means that you still have to uh, iron out a lot of this emotional baggage, emotional kinks. So, Stacy, you are in the right path. Yeah, of course, there will be time that you feel like, because the mind will always, seek for solution to problems. It will start judging and evaluating. That is an object of awareness for you. So sit back and watch the mind. Watch what it tells you. So instead of identifying with the mind, now you could actually probably treat the mind as another person talking to you. So maybe you could listen to it or just watch it. If you watch something and don't react, the very thought will dissipate or disappear by itself. So remember in previous classes, I say awareness will dissolve things that are ugly and will deepen things that are beautiful. So anxiety, anger, resentment, doubt, self-doubt, self-hate will dissolve in awareness. And love, compassion, the feeling of togetherness will deepen in awareness. So again, whatever it is that's going on in your head, in your mind, is an object of awareness. So that's how you grow as a person. That's how you heal a lot of unresolved issues from the past, from childhood, etc. So how does that go as an answer, Stacy? So again, the answer is just give him space. Let him come to you whenever he wants to. And when he's affectionate, you reward him too with affection. But when he's not feeling it, he's not touching you, do not throw yourself onto him. Don't force yourself into him, because you would feel rejected, because very likely he would just like step back a little. Okay? So, okay, let's go to the next question. Let's see, from Sophie. I'm still in a relationship with my ex, who is kind of EUM. We don't have sex since we stopped being in a committed relationship. I know he dates girls, have sex with them, but he is always disappointed and never ended up in a committed relationship. I don't want to hear about his experience with them in terms of insatisfaction. So he never shared about it. Is it okay to avoid what is about the other girls? I'm afraid this brings me in the friend zone. If you don't want to hear it and he doesn't talk about it, so what is the problem? And I do understand you don't want to hear all these his gripes about other women, so keep it at it is. So you are in a kind of, it's not really a relationship if you don't have sex with him. And what's stopping you? Okay, I understand, because you're no longer in a committed relationship. But then again, you know how it goes. Commitment is not something that comes out the mouth. As if when he says, oh, I'm committed to you, then he's committed. No, it's not the case at all, as you guys know. Guys would often say things And later on, they don't really care that they did say those things. So right now, you have to trust the process. A lot of you don't trust the process. A lot of you want the carriage before the horse. Oh, you want guarantee, you want verbal uh, guarantee and agreement and contract, you know, not understanding that people go through the commitment timeline or commitment process, not just all of a sudden. Okay, it's not working like that. That's why a lot of you don't understand how to make a guy commit. A guy commits step by step in the moment. Okay, he will always need to reassess his feelings. So it doesn't matter his mouth say, "Oh, I'm committed to you." That is not what makes commitment. So you have to start trust the process, meaning you have to be vulnerable. This is what's missing in a lot of dating or relationship advice out there. A lot of dating or relationship advice out there teaches you to secure an outcome first. Let him sign an agreement, sort of thing. You know, and then you can be vulnerable. It's not like that. You have to be vulnerable first, meaning you have to jump into the unknown and be okay with the unknown. You have to be comfortable not knowing where this relationship is going, and just allow it to happen naturally. Why are you so scared of nature? Okay, what is happening naturally is, or what is happening, what is growing organically has the strongest roots. Do you understand that? Like, for example, in my job, I didn't spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on advertisement. It's not how I did it the first time I came here. I did it through just trusting the process and trusting my own products and services and let it grow organically. So with zero advertisement, I can have this. So it's not about guaranteeing that the future would look like this. I didn't know that I would live in a home like this. I didn't even know that people would like my book. I didn't even know that people would resonate or relate to my message. But I just trust myself. I just trust the process. If it's, supposed to happen, it will happen. And then it did happen. It's the same with every aspect of life. So especially in a relationship. Okay? So a lot of you trying to sort of get that, oh yeah, we're gonna get married, we're gonna get engaged, whatever, and then you are okay having sex with him. But then, moments later, you see that what he says isn't in an alignment with his actions, and you wonder why. You wonder why because he's not emotionally there yet. So it doesn't matter if he signed an agreement with you. If he's emotionally not there yet, he's gonna do whatever he needs to do. It's not the mind that makes a guy commit. You remember that. It's not the mind. It's how he feels. It is what he feels deep in his heart. So if you don't focus on how to connect heart to heart with him, likelihood is that relationships never go deep, and it will never go to the point in which he will give you what you want, ring, or say marriage, whatever it is that you want. So yes, you need to be vulnerable. Okay, and it is okay to be vulnerable. And again, I will teach how to just be and to surrender to your vulnerability in the retreat. So please come to the retreat and learn more, okay? All right, so let's see what other questions you have, guys. Here from Elena. Hi, Kat. Could you give me some advice on how to act with your ex when he's back after 3 years? He left me and our son when he fell for another woman and moved to another country. On those days, I was the biggest doormat that has ever existed. In all these years, he only texted once every few months to ask about our son. He's back now and wants to be a part of his life and somehow also mine. How can I act so he sees I'm not the same woman, and if I don't accept his old behavior, it's because I'm different inside and not just because I'm resentful and hurt. I know I should not care the slightest about what he thinks, but I don't want him to disappear from my son's life again. How to act? Thank you, Kat. Elena, start from uh, start with a new chapter. So treat this like a new relationship. Treat him like a new guy you have just met. Okay? So what you need to do is, if he's not full-time yet in your life, you still have to date other guys. You still have to have a rotation. So you don't start being resentful. Because the likelihood, even if he is serious about going back to you, the process won't just happen overnight. All of a sudden, he becomes the family man that you want. He will need time to adjust to the new environment. He will need time to jump in the hot tub. You understand? So right now, he's probably just like, you know, adjusting to the heat. His toes are already in the water. And probably next month, his knees will be in the water. You know what I'm saying? You cannot expect all of a sudden he becomes like a husband. And when you expect, he will start withdrawing again. So treat him like one of the guys in your rotation. Okay? So you only respond when he pursues, he asks you out, or he initiates. You don't invest other than that. Okay? Give other guys the same privilege until such time it's clear that he wants to have you and the baby, back in his life full time. So don't start jumping into full expectation mode that he's gonna be, the full-time father to your child. Okay, you got this. So, and if he's disappear again from your life, that's why you just have to take your time. Do not jump into the hot tub. See how it goes. Take it one day at a time. Okay? So as I said, guys need time to bond to you, and he needs to invest into the relationship. So respond to his investment. If he doesn't invest, you don't do anything either. It was very important for you not to start clinging to an idea of being with him. Because when you start doing it, it will throw you off balance. And you will become resentful, you'll be mad, you'll be upset, and you have to tell him that you're upset, right? Okay. And if you have a chance, maybe, Elena, sign up for Journey Inward. In Journey Inward, I'll teach you how to manage your own emotions. Because only when you can deal with your own self, you can deal with men or other people. Okay. So, all right. So this is from Carolina. Hi, Kat. What is your opinion on when the man cheats? Is it possible to forgive him and let it go, or is it the end of the relationship for you? Given that he claims that he learned his lesson, regrets it, and says he wouldn't do it again. If you ask me a question like this, my answer would be, I deal with it when Joe cheats. I don't know how I'm going to feel, right? So this is kind of like general. I don't know why he cheats. How was your relationship? And whether or not you're ready to start with a blank sheet again, blank slate? Or are you still harboring a lot of resentment? If you still resentful, I can guarantee you the relationship will fall apart again in a few weeks or few months. So you have to heal inside first, because if you're not healed yet, you will always go back to that cheating incident. You always gonna have to bring it up, and it will create a lot of friction in your relationship. So ask yourself, are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to forget and forgive? If you do, then yeah, give him a chance. But remember, when you go back to a relationship with a man who cheated on you, it's not gonna do you any good when you cannot let go of the past. So unless you're ready to let go of the past, to never bring it up again, then yes, give him a chance. If you still want to harbor of the hurt feelings, of how he had violated you, had wronged you, then don't do that. Okay? Because it's going to be drama, guaranteed. Okay. So, this is from Julie. Julie, I need to scroll up, hon. So, let's see. Let me read Helen first. I often feel guilty for not hanging out with friends or socializing with people. I like to be alone a lot, and I hate being pressured to go to places and hang out when deep inside I don't want to. How do I deal with this? People often get upset with me, and it makes me want to be alone even more. Helen, the guilt is on you. Nobody makes you feel guilty, as a matter of fact. The guilt is because you are pressuring yourself, not that your friends are pressuring you, but for the most part, it's because you are pressuring yourself. So if you don't want to go, then don't go. Don't do things because you think you should, right? So if you're not happy, you think you're not gonna be happy hanging out with your friends, then just say, hey, some other time. Okay, just trust your own judgment for a change and accept that you're not feeling it in the moment. So forgive yourself. So a lot of you put so much expectations on yourself, and then you begin to expect a lot on other people too. Remember, the two goes hand in hand. By the way, do you hear that running? I think my neighbor is probably doing some work here. So let's move somewhere else. I don't like the noise. So Helen, if you don't want to go, don't go. Okay? Don't make it complicated. That is, by the way, an example of a split mind. Split mind is like your heart says something, but your mind tells other things. And you, as the result, you are conflicted. That's what a split mind is. All right. I think it's probably better. All right. Helen, is that a good enough answer? Okay, now from Julie. Julie, Kat, 3 weeks ago, my boyfriend said, we need to take some time apart. So I took that as a breakup. I accepted that it's over though. Though it's hard, but I forced myself to just be. On Father's Day, I greeted him a happy Father's Day without expectations. He responded, thank you. Then the following day, he sent me this message. Thanks for the Father's Day well wish. I appreciated the thought. I was hoping you would have something more to communicate. This seems to be more of an issue for me than you. But I don't like to leave things open and uncertain. Not sure where you are with this. My response was, you are welcome. Yes, we can meet up and talk. I would like to resolve whatever issues we have and would like to go forward with you. I know sometimes we are not on the same page, but would like or willing to adjust myself so we can meet in the middle. I don't like arguing, and everything should be easy on us. I would like for us to work out and have a better relationship. His response was, I appreciate the words. Are you waiting for my response? I said, yes. So we end up talking and we are back together again. We compromise to communicate and solve the issue uh, before the end of the day. Please give me some advice how to move forward. Thank you. Julie, it's not your job to move it forward. It's really his, because he's the leader. So you just sit back and relax and observe. You know, does he put the money where his mouth is? And you will know. I have a feeling that he used so many excuses just to be absent in your life, maybe because there is another woman, to be honest with you. Because some guys do that, you know, when they're gaslighting. They make it as if you are the problem, while it's actually them wanting to spend time with other women. So be careful of that. I'm not trying to, you know, to make you doubt yourself or doubt the relationship. But the truth is, this relationship has been lukewarm for like 2 years because he's not ready. He's not sure whatever his problems are. Okay, so just again, observe. Do you want a guy who is always like half in? I certainly don't. I don't think you deserve that. So see how it goes and keep me posted, okay? Give him a chance. But if he's like, you know, squirming again, telling you like, oh, you should do this, you do that, well, it's actually there is no reason for him whatsoever, you know, um, to make you wrong, because you didn't do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned, you know. So it's up to him what he wants to do, what he, you know, because he's the guy. Okay. Now from Lisa. Hi, Kat. Thanks for making another video. Can you talk more about leaning back as a way of life? How do you lean back in your business? Is this something we can and should be doing in all areas of life? I lean back in business, you know what? Because I don't hire people to help me so much uh, with client matters, for example, you know. Yeah, sometimes I think that it will be helpful to have help, administrative help, but then at the same time, hiring people that I would have to supervise too. And to be honest with you, I'm not a very good people manager. It's just like, for me, it's work to manage people. And then meaning if I manage people, I have to tell them what to do. I have to supervise. I have to lean forward. So that's not much leaning back in managing a company, to be perfectly honest with you. So the way I do it is I do it my way, in which it is with the least resistance. So to me, the way I do it like this is the least resistance. I deal with my clients myself, direct, and we build rapport, we build trust, we have personal relationships. Like you and me have a personal relationship, Lisa. All my clients and me have personal relationships. That's why they take care of me and I take care of them, you know, and it works. That is the feminine way of running a business. It's all about cooperations, about relationship. So does that answer your question? So basically, you just need, you know, to do things that you know you are comfortable with. You know, like chasing clients, that is not something that I feel comfortable with. You know, I'm not a very good like hustler like that. So I'm kind of shy in that department. So I guess I'm just blessed. I'm lucky that this works. To some of you might be a little, you need to be a little bit more aggressive, etc. So just explore, okay? Explore and observe. And at times, maybe when you need to be more aggressive, to be more masculine, then accept where you are in the journey, okay? So, and please come to the retreat and I'll explain more to you the process of how you can incorporate your feminine energy and still are very fulfilled in your job, in your business, or your career. Okay, I will explain that in more detail in the retreat. Okay, this is from Mia. In my if in my rotation I really like this guy, do I have sex because we want to, or do we have to make them wait? I'm confused on how to deal with this. You know what I would say. Make them wait is mind stuff, because the mind is sneaky. The mind is trying to secure an outcome. So it's scheming. That is not what I teach. What I teach is what you feel moment to moment. In the moment you feel very connected to this guy. You just feel so good about yourself. Feel so good about your connection, and you want just to be intimate with him. Just do it. Just do it. Meaning that the consequences of having sex, right? You might get pregnant, you might get STD. So take necessary precaution and release yourself emotionally from guilt and shame and expectations that it has to be a certain way after sex. Can you do that, Mia? If you can do that, then sex is kosher. You can have sex as much as you want, and a guy won't dump you just because of that. If you have other things you bring to the table, if you are a goddess, the fact that you love sex and you don't have any hang up about sex is extremely attractive to guys. But of course, this is not being taught out there, right? But I'm different. I I don't teach what is right. I teach what works. And I know what works. So, as I said, be vulnerable. Be in the moment. Connect to him heart to heart. If that connection heart to heart leads to connection body to body, then so be it. You will have much more success that way than worrying in your head, oh, I should make him wait at least 90 days, because he's on probation. Yeah, if he waits 90 days, most of them just, disappear after a month if they know it's not going anywhere because you're playing games or you're trying to control him. So just relax, and enjoy. Okay? It's not gonna hurt you. I promise you. What's gonna hurt you is the meaning you give to sex. That is what's hurting you. What's hurting you is your attachment to the idea of sex or no sex. It's not oxytocin, this, that. Okay? That's nonsense. What hurts you is your own mind. What you hold in your mind, what you believe in your mind. That's what hurts you. Okay. Let's see other questions. It's from Jasmine. I've been seeing a guy for about 9 weeks. I have been leaning back and haven't done the what are we talk. Please don't. He isn't a texting guy, but will call me and talk for 6 hours straight, but in person. In person, affectionate. My problem is he made it clear he doesn't like girls who date more than one guy at a time. And although he often talks in future tense between us, I don't know how to keep others in rotation till he steps up. I feel guilty. Maybe that comes from being cheated on and my marriage destroyed. So should I just lean back and wait or keep my rotation going? So I don't know. How is he treating you? Is he occupying your free time, or there is a lag between dates? Like maybe he sees you today, then you don't hear from him in 3 days. Then he says hi on the fourth day, and nothing for the next 2 days, and he doesn't ask you out again until a week later. If that is the case, hell yes, I'm gonna rotate him. He's not my boyfriend. What should I feel guilty, you know, to someone who is not my boyfriend? Like, do I demand him to be calling me up, asking me out? No. So why does he need to demand anything from you? Okay? So just be done with all this guilt thing. Guilt is basically ego. That's what ego is. Just be your natural self. What feels right moment to moment, that is your true nature. That is your natural self. And you cannot go wrong with your natural self. It's a different situation if he is your boyfriend. Then yeah, in that case, of course, you're not gonna rotate him. But if it's only 9 weeks and he's not showing up every day, a lot of times there is a lot of lag in between meetups, then yeah, please do not put a guy on a pedestal. Okay, so put yourself on a pedestal. So if he wants you for himself, he knows what to do. Guys know what to do. Okay, it's instinct with them. They're animals. They don't need to be told what to do. Okay, let's go up, see what other questions you have. Oh God. Oh, here from Erin. Erin asks, how would your teachings apply to polyamorous or open marriages? Since you're dealing with multiple energies and have a hard time choosing just one person because you can't, because you are poly. LOL. What is a huge red flag that you tell people in relationships to never ignore? What is your belief on cheating? What is cheating? If you're poly, meaning you have an abundant mindset, what do you care about one person does? You have the other 5, right? So, but maybe you should ask yourself a question. Are you really a poly? Does it really work for you? Or you just feel that, this is not going anywhere with anyone because your energy is spread out. Yeah, that is the essence of a polyamorous relationship, is you don't have so much emotional attachment to anyone in the arrangements, because just one of many, like rotation. So what do you care? What red flags and what not? Just enjoy the abundance. Invite more guys. But is that what you want, or are you the sort of actually that who wants a deeper bond? Throughout through years or time in the relationship. In that case, then maybe you're not really polyamorous. Then maybe you want to start, exploring monogamy. Okay, or are you polyamorous in a way that just sex, or truly like polyamory, meaning that you have sexual and emotional relationships with many? So I think if you are okay with the premise of a polyamorous relationship, it's really there is no problem in those relationships, because whatever one does, you can always like have it covered by the others. Whatever one doesn't do would have it covered by the others. Isn't it true? Okay. Let's see another question here. From Liz. What do you think about people who get divorced and within 3 to 6 months, men or women, after sometimes not even divorced yet, jump into another relationship? I see this happen so often in my little town. I'm like, what? Are they really healed? I won't even date a guy unless he's divorced. No, the answer is no. That's what rebounding is. A lot of people don't know they're rebounding until they're in a relationship, and then they realize they don't want to go that deep, or they still get triggered by things that remind them of their exes, for example. So this is what we call transitional relationship. They might think they're ready for another relationship, or they might think they are in a new relationship, but the depth of that relationship, as you would see over time, or the other participant in the relationship could see, cannot go that deep thanks to that rebounding state of mind. So the answer is no, I don't really think that those people are ready. But it's very important at the same time for you to date around, to have transitional relationships, to iron out the kinks. So do not judge them because they might not know. But at the same time, if you are in the same situation that in that the guy or guys are just separated or recently divorced, know in your heart that the likelihood for them to be able to go a distance is really slim. So keep that in mind when dating rebounding guys. They're good. Don't I mean you don't have to have a radical approach. Oh, never. I will never date like guys who are on the rebound, or guys who are separated, or guys who are just recently divorced. They're good for you to also for you to learn from the interactions, as long as you keep a rotation. That's all. Okay. Um, this is from Stephanie. I have a major interest in someone, but his occupation requires that he be out of town for several months out of the year. Long distance situations, are the boundaries the same? You don't need boundaries. You need rotation. So any guy who is not physically available most of the time is not the best boyfriend material. You should just accept it and enjoy him while he's around, but know in your heart this probably not gonna go anywhere unless he knows what to do. He plans and execute the plan. A man who knows that he's interested in a woman knows what to do. So if he's just acting casual, then you should act casual with him too. Doesn't mean that you cannot see him or date him or enjoy him. You can do it. But remember, do not be exclusive with this guy. Okay? This is from Bear. Hi Kat, how can I get an ex-fiance to recommit and be committed without being pushy or needy? How can I inspire him to step up to the plate and claim me again? When we were engaged, he said I hounded him about wedding dates. Bear, I have a program called 4 Components of Melting His Heart. I really believe that program will help you a great deal. Yeah, you don't trust him. That's a problem. You don't trust his sleep. You don't trust him. If you don't trust a guy, then you cannot inspire him to give you what you want. So you first have to trust him. And I know it feels vulnerable, right? That's why I say being vulnerable is so important for a relationship to deepen and flourish. Okay? So you've been nagging him about wedding dates and he broke up with you. So you cannot go back to that nagging state of mind. So you have to learn to trust. Okay? And I know it is hard. And you are engaged already. How long have you been engaged? Okay? So you got to soften your boundaries. There is also a class that is such a hit called How to Soften Your Boundaries. Because a lot of you are like these explosives. You're ready. You're like a ticking time bomb. You're always ready to explode any day. And it's not going to work to foster like bond or connection with a guy. A guy would commit to you, would marry you, and everything they did when he feels right about it. And then that is where your focus should be. Your focus should be how to cement that emotional attraction, that emotional connection. You cannot do it by nagging. You can do it by being his number one supporter. Guys love women who are easy to lead, who are their rocks. So be his rock. Trust him. Be his most excited supporter. And trust me, if you do that, he will love you, fall in love even deeper with you. And it's just a matter of time when he will come up with a wedding date. Okay? Good luck to you. So let's see. How do you respond? This is from Nicole. How do you respond to a guy who is making insecure or jealous comments? For example, oh, I'm sure all the guys are gonna like you there, or you're probably gonna go there and meet some hot guy who will sweep you off your feet. I wouldn't respond to that. Why? If he's truly like into you and so scared of you being taken away from him, then he knows what to do. Again, this is this passive aggressiveness. Just don't engage. Or if he says, oh, I'm sure that all the guys are gonna like you there. Oh, you bet. I probably would say that. You bet they will. Okay, so don't take that seriously. Guys know what to do. And you don't want guys who are, in a sense, weak like that anyway. Like you're a man, so you know what to do. So instead of just making these comments, underhanded comments, just show it with actions maybe. But you don't have to say it that way. But, as a woman, then your radar would just like go off like, oh, do I want to be with a guy like this? You might give him more chance and see how he behaves. But if it becomes like an obvious thing for him that he is needy like that, then, you might want to be turned off because you don't want to be with a needy guy. And from Natalie say, my EOM disappeared after finding out he wasn't the only one in my rotation. It's been 3 weeks, no word. This is the first time I haven't chased. I'm a cat woman now. What is his problem? His problem is he wants the cake and eat it. So just let him be. He's an EUM, so he wants to have you to yourself while he calls the shot on when to take you out, when even to be in touch with you. Then it's his problems. So don't feel guilty. Again, a lot of you always like feel guilty. You guys are such one downs in the relationship. Like you want this more than he does, and that is not very attractive. As I said, and I repeat it again, guys who are sure know what to do. It's not a complicated thing. It's not nuclear science, for God's sake. Okay? So if he's not okay with you seeing other guys, then do the right thing. Man up and claim you. That's what he needs to do, and he knows it. But since he doesn't want to do it, he just wants a cake and eat it. And you can say, screw off. That's what I would do. Just let him be. He'll come back. They always do. Okay. From Murph says, how do you draw the line between being soft, understanding, and being a doormat? Sometimes I really can't decide what to answer some behaviors. Like if the guy says he works a lot and changes some plans, but then he doesn't make any other plans, how to answer this? So like he cancels last minute or something, Um, Depends how many times he has done it. If he's done it like 3 times in a row, maybe I just stop answering, really. Or if you want to say something, I'm worried, wary about making plans with you because you always cancel last minute, so I'm gonna get ready and you cancel. That's not nice. So if it's a habit of his, just say it as it is. It just doesn't work. But then again, if you have, like other interesting guys in your rotation, you could care less. And again, as I said in the previous classes, adjust to a guy's style. If he's always the one who has last minute plan, is and often rarely pans out, whatever he says, don't take him seriously. That's all. He say, yeah, let's do something on Saturday, but you don't hear plans, you don't hear detail. That assume it's not happening. Simple as that. Then when he calls like Saturday, if you're not doing anything, you can go. But if you already have plans, you just say, I'm sorry, I made another plan because I didn't hear from you. And based on past experiences, you always cancel last minute. So, I didn't know it was going to happen and I wasn't going to wait around. That's it. You see, no drama, no this sort of upset feelings, whatever. But at the same time, you're showing your standards, right? You're not a ball buster, but you just know what to do. That's all. And you're calm about it. And hopefully, he will get to see that side of you. Because other women probably would already throw a fit, right? And related to these softened boundaries, this is from Cree. Cree asks, I have a similar question to this one. Do we say when things bothers us or just lean back when situations like this occur, especially when it becomes a pattern? Again, it kind of depends. Okay, if you're always the one who's ready to tell him about your upset feelings, then it's not a good thing, because that is a habit that you can tweak a little bit. But if it's someone like me, because I barely expect anything from anyone, so I have a very modest expectation of people, and I rarely get angry, get annoyed even. I can do whatever, like if I don't feel it, I don't feel it. I would just say it. But at the same time, if I'm not, unless that I'm really ticked off, I won't get mad. If I do get mad too, I accept that I'm mad in the moment and then I let go. So get that class, how to soften your boundaries, because I don't know your history, Cree. Okay, so let's say they do it often, then you want to say something. Okay, then you just say it as it is. I'm often confused about the fact that with you, planning things is like pulling a tooth. Okay, so you can be honest without being a ballbuster. That's all I'm saying. And again, if you have a rotation, you would focus less and less on guys like this. But the problem is, a lot of you love guys like this because the sex is great. Now you are just like putting up with a lot of shit from these guys because they're special, right? I call that GCS, Golden Cock Syndrome. That's what it is. Okay, so be careful. Be aware of that and always ready with your rotation, because that is a kiss of death when you are so hooked on a guy because the sex is so great. Then you cannot see clearly anymore. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have sex either. I don't teach that. The sex is the important part of the relating. Okay? Sex is the important part of the bonding process. So don't underestimate it, don't undermine it. Okay? So it's already over an hour, ladies. I probably address a few questions from you. This is from Deb. Deb says, Kat, you're amazing. Oh, thank you, honey. I love all your advice and support. How do you keep balance between work and personal life? Um, I don't have to balance it because I'm already balanced inside. So, but I have to be honest with you. I have to admit that in the old days, like probably a few years ago, I was more a workaholic than I am today. Like I would even answer emails like up to like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. because I was just so passionate about my work. So, and Joey often complained because, why can't you just stop? Like this is like 10 p.m. already. Geez. So I don't do that anymore. Usually after now 7 or 8 p.m. From time to time, I still check my email. I have to be honest, but not like as obsessed as I used to be because I can now relax a little bit more in the business. Um, and enjoy just be more. So that's how I keep myself balanced because the principles that I teach that I'm gonna explore more in the retreat is called Wei Wu Wei. Wei Wu Wei is a Taoist principle that basically means actions without action or actions without striving. So actions that come from being. So in the retreat, I will teach you the art of being. So even though I am very productive, I am very creative, I have accomplished a lot, but it doesn't feel like work to me because it doesn't, because I'm always one with that actions. That is what Wei Wu Wei is. Even when I'm doing something like this, for example, talking to you, I'm always in the state of being. Meaning I just speak what transpires moment to moment because I'm in my body, in my heart, not in my mind. When I start dwelling in my mind and I begin to lose my trains of thoughts, I begin to stutter and just go blanks probably because I don't know what to talk about. This is also a practice, a skill that comes with practice. Yeah, the skill that comes with practice, meaning the more you do it, the more you understand and you get the groove of it. Okay, so that's how I keep myself balanced. I'm always around doing something, doing my work. But a lot of times too, I really need my alone time, my me time, my reflection time. That is when I would just spend hours in the bedroom, for example, just lie down, for example, and go very deep inside myself. I can do it for hours. And certain times I need it more than others. That is how I restore and recharge. And whatever I need moment to moment, I never make an issue of it. So I always embrace whatever I feel in the moment. So say right now I don't feel like doing anything. I just feel like lying down, doing absolutely nothing. I don't make myself feel guilty about it. Of course, some guilty thoughts arise, right? Oh, I should have done something else because this is like a waste of time. Then what do you do with your thought? You just watch your thought. You Because I'm in a state that I'm aware of everything that I thought, everything that arises in my mind. So my thoughts are totally separate from me. Like I watch as my thoughts arise. So I always treat my thoughts as if it is just an independent phenomenon separate from myself, which it is. Thoughts are very mechanical. That those are the products of biology. That's what the brains do, churning thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. And those thoughts are not actually yours. The thoughts actually belong to culture, belong to collective consciousness, belong to the collective evolution. Who you are is the awareness that is witnessing the thoughts. or everything that is arising in your consciousness. Again, this is the sort of thing that I need to sit with you one-on-one and talk in depth. And I will address every confusion that you have. I'm going to guide you. And we can do it with a glass of wine during the retreat. So please come to the retreat, okay? All right, this is from Connie. How to be a cat girl if you are trying to help a guy with addiction issues. Been trying to keep my friend busy and out of trouble, and he hurt me recently, so I'm keeping my distance. But if he's ready for help, I want him to know I will help and be there for support. But I don't want to be taken advantage of if he's not serious about getting help. Any special guidelines, since it's more a matter of life or death? He needs tough love, but he doesn't drive and still care, but feel I need to ignore him for now. So he sees what he had. So any advice there? It's such a slippery slope. His mom kicked him out, and he keeps ending up in the wrong crowd, but want to be there for him if it becomes a job, yet he helps with my kids and think if he got it together, maybe there could be something in the future. So how can he see I care and willing to support him without being a pushover? You're not paid to be the guardian of an addicted guy, a junk. It's beyond your paycheck. Yeah, I understand you want to be there for him, as a friend, but at the end of the day, you cannot help him beyond, just the normal things friends do. In the end of the day, he has to decide whether or not he wants to change. So release yourself from guilt and just be there when he needs you. But at the same time, if it becomes obvious that he is out of help, even his mom kicked him out, but maybe it's time for you to also reconsider, do I want to be involved in this? Because there's not much you can do. Okay? I wish I could be an answer to all problems in the world, but at the end of the day, it all starts from within. Okay? You could be so idealistic that you want to change the world, you want to change other people, but at the end of the day, it's up to the people if they want to change. And when I say up to the people, oftentimes they're not ready themselves. So if they're not ready, they live in the realm that is beyond their awareness to understand what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't be right for every woman either, because a lot of women, they're not ready for my message. They want a strategy, they want a to-do list, like what should I do? But when I say there is nothing you can do, they'll be so angry with me. Like, why would I pay you if you just tell me that it's nothing I can do? That's only because they don't understand. So, I can try to make them understand, but at the end of the day, their stage on their journey will decide whether or not they can stay with me, or they probably should just shop around a little bit more. Then when they hit rock bottom, they'll be more ready and come to me. Okay? So that is the same with you and your friends. Don't get so attached with anyone, even family members, friends, or even kids, because his own mother, is not very attached, apparently. But maybe that is what she needs to do, so he could change. For a lot of people, hitting rock bottom is the only way for them to change. I hit my rock bottom, and I changed because of that. So don't hold yourself responsible for things that are beyond your control. People's level of awareness is beyond your control. Okay, they're going to perceive according to their schema, according to the template that they're still having in their mind space. There's no way around it. Okay, Connie? All right, let's see if anyone else, any other question? This is from Tina. How do I not let rejection affect me as much in all areas of my life, friends, family, etc.? Well, don't dwell on it. Don't mull around it. You know, you let things affect you when you discuss it in your head. When you try to justify that I'm actually not that bad, then you try to find reasons to prove to yourself that you are not that bad. Okay? And then because of the tension you carry inside from this debate with yourself, then you become so affected by these emotions. That is the only reason. That is what a split mind is. And it is not necessarily a rejection either. Just because someone don't do things according to your wish doesn't mean they reject you necessarily. Doesn't mean it's about you. Maybe it's about them. Maybe, they don't have it in them to give you what you want. So try to get out of that egoic mode of consciousness, because the more you are dwelling in that very restricted mode of consciousness, the more vulnerable you are to slights and personal insults and suffering. Okay? So the egoic mode of consciousness is built by layers upon layers of thoughts. So when you no longer have those layers upon layers of thoughts, you never have to deal with this, the aftermath of egoic mode of consciousness going amok, because you are empty inside. You don't see the world, you don't perceive the world through the screen of these thoughts. Does that make sense to you? Again, this is the very thing I would discuss in depth in the retreat. So you will learn so much about new skills dealing with life by first of all dealing with your own mind space. Because remember, the outer world is a mere reflection of your inner world. Okay, Tina? So just don't think about it. As simple as that. Whatever it is that bothers you comes from thinking, comes from the I thoughts. And the I thoughts always bring resistance in you, always bring tension. And how do you know when you are thinking I thoughts? I would know when I start thinking about myself, because my body feels so uncomfortable. My body feels a little bit restless, some tension maybe in my chest area. That's how I feel. Then that is I know when I'm thinking about myself. Okay? So when you are aware and mindful of the sensations of your body, you will eventually be mindful of your thoughts, because your body will tell you what is going on in your mind space. But if you, right now, you and your thoughts are one, meaning you are lost in the identification of thoughts, you may not be able to know, to see how your thoughts are you. So you need to take a step back between you and your thoughts. That is the practice in which you will focus more in the sensations you feel in your body to get out of the thinking mode. So now you are in the feeling mode. You feel the sensation in your body. Because when you are focusing on the feelings in your body, physical sensations, you are out of that thinking mode. Try it. Okay? And then when willy-nilly, surely, like most people, thoughts will arise and you will go back to being lost in the thoughts. That is just an inevitability. Over time, though, the gap between thinking, between one thought to another, will become larger and larger. So you would be more adept in recognizing your thought sooner than later. So if it's usually like it takes you every 1 hour to be aware of your thought, now you can cut it into half. Now every 30 minutes, you're aware of your thought before other thought arises, because then the gap will be still very narrow. Say a few seconds of gap in which you're not thinking. If you're just aware of that gap between thoughts, however narrow it might be, however fast it might be, you're already making progress. So pat yourself on the back. Ow, I notice myself not thinking. When you notice yourself not thinking, then you notice also yourself thinking. Right? So sooner or later, being lost in the thought will be less and less. Now 30 minutes, and tomorrow probably will be just every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes. And sooner or later, there are more gaps than thoughts. And the gap will be larger and larger. The thinking will be smaller and narrower. So you can imagine. Now, your state of consciousness is like that. Thoughts. And then gap, very small gap. And then thoughts. So 99% content of your consciousness are thoughts. If with practice or with awakening, with realization, it will be reversed. This is the gap of no thoughts now. And then thoughts will arise between those gaps. And that thoughts would last probably about 5 seconds. And then quiet again, like this again, no thoughts again. And then thoughts arise again like this, and no thoughts again. So that is what I mean by an empty head. So the content of your consciousness is mostly empty, spacious. There is no identification. There is no I thoughts. There is no sub story. There is no story, period. Sub or non-sub. That is when you become such a powerful human being. When your gap is this big and your thoughts is this narrow. Because all the creative juices, the inspirations, they arise in those gaps. How do you think geniuses produce, the genial products and services and contributions to society do it? Because they are in a state of peak experience or flow that is indicated, or that is indicated by large gaps like that, instead of thinking. Okay, that is what I mean by self-mastery. And it's doable. It is very exciting when you already get to that point in which your thought is just like these passing clouds, no meaning whatsoever, so impersonal. They're coming and going, and they're not yours. They're not you. You have no control over your thoughts, and you know it. So that is the time when you are as steady as a rock. Okay? That is what realization is all about. And that realization happens in those gaps, not in your thinking mode. Okay? So, ladies, I think that's a long class. I can go on forever, of course, you know me. So, but Thank you for being here. Um, if you cannot come to the retreat, I will start module 5, Salvation Through Relationship, July 8th. So you might want to put it on your calendar so you can sign up later. I would put it on the comment sections, the link to the sign up, link, and it would be 3 or 4 weeks, I think. And you don't want to miss this because you want to learn, the healing process of each other, not just you, but also your partner, and how these interactions you have with your partner will speed up your reclaiming the denied parts or the oppressed parts of yourself. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Then I'll see you again probably sometimes next week or so. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good weekend.